Failure as a path to success. Welcome to How I Broke This podcast, hosted by me, Monica De Leon. This is a show where entrepreneurs talk about their biggest failures and how they forged their path from broken dreams to true success. This is How I Broke This. All right, so welcome everyone to How I Broke This podcast. How are you all doing today? My name is Monica and I'm your host for today. And we're back for another amazing episode, everybody. So we're going to have an incredible time today and I'm super excited. So we have a very special guest coming up in just a short while. And this episode will be a conversation with an athleticism performance coach and the founder of athleticism.com and EMFRocks.com. So he is the author of two books, Athleticism, Whole Body plus Whole Brain, equals Performance and Grounded by Nature, and Everything You Should Know About Electromagnetic Fields and How to Thrive or Ground with Them. So in his over 25 years of experience, he does nerve work for sports performance, with both amateur and professional athletes in most major sports. And he successfully treats concussions quickly. Knowing that everything has a resonance, he uses light, sound, frequency, and vibration to facilitate healing and performance. And what happened was that about a decade ago, he saw his athletes breaking down from wearable technology and looked to nature to solve this man-made electricity and EMF challenge. So his EMF Rocks grounding bags are sold at doctor clinics across the United States, not only to help athletes, but people in general. So the grounding bags are the leading natural protection for helping people coexist with EMFs and to get better sleep and better health. So, wow, truly groundbreaking. Everyone, please welcome Justin Franson. Justin, I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Oh, likewise, Monica. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, so, you have obviously a very inspiring background, Justin, and one of which is my first time knowing about, to be honest. Tell us more about yourself. What's your backstory? Tell us about the beginning of your journey as an athleticism performance coach. What were you doing before being one? Like, were you interested in sports as a child?
Yeah, I grew up being an athlete and playing tennis. I came across an unbelievable sports performance program at a Scripps clinic in La Jolla. And so I jumped into that and almost 30 years later, it's been athleticism.com is where we started. And I got into the EMF space over a decade ago when I saw one of our strong fit professional athletes wearing a smartwatch, and he said, "Justin, I have pain in my wrist." And I said, "Well, where?" And he pointed right to where the watch was. And that was about the time where the Fitbits were being recalled. And I said, "Well, hey, take the radiation off your wrist." And so sure enough, he takes it off and the pain goes away and his arm function slowly restored back to full strength. And literally that, Monica, was a moment where I just knew I had to dive deeper into understanding how we're one with nature and how different this non-native, all the electricity and electromagnetic radiation is for us and our bodies.
Wow. Okay. That's awesome. And your background is, what you do is absolutely extraordinary, as you mentioned. And to be honest, as I mentioned earlier, these are all new to me as well. So I did some research about electromagnetic fields, how they are generated, how they are actually affecting the human body. I don't know if people know that. And, I went through your Instagram accounts as well. And there was this interview you had with um, Dr. Will Cole. And I think you talked about, since the introduction of electricity to people's homes, to how technology has continuously evolved around us and the impact on the human body. So for people who are complete beginners or, they don't know anything about the technical side of electromagnetic fields or EMFs, how would you explain this and its effects on the human body in simple terms? Like, what should people be cautious about?
Yeah. So this is a physics conversation. And so let me break down everything in a wave form. And because every living organism has a resonance, right?
Right.
We're electromagnetic beings, and we kick off a resonance. And during the pandemic, as I call it, everyone said, stay 6 to 8 feet away from everybody else. Well, that's because our biofield, our energy field goes out about 6 to 8 feet in every direction. So our living resonances are unpolarized. Every single being has a resonance that's unpolarized. So that's
Right.
our energy field. It doesn't go in a straight line, it goes out in every direction. That's the same with nature's resonance, the healing pulse of the
Mm,
earth. It's a unpolarized resonance. So when you're earthing or grounding and you're barefoot or you're connecting to the earth's resonance, you're not in it in one spot and then out of it in another spot. It's all over the earth's surface. So no matter where you step at a park or at a beach, you're getting those negative ionic charges
mm,
to feed our body. And another prime example of something that's an unpolarized waveform, that's nature's way of healing, would be if we drop a pebble into a pond
hmm.
and it's perpendicular. So you drop it straight into the pond. The splash of the pond goes in a circular, waveform in
Right.
every direction, right?
That's true.
Yeah. So why doesn't it go in a straight line, Monica, to the right or to the left? The answer
Mm,
is because that's just not the framework of our universe. Our universe is based on waves that are unpolarized.
right.
So that kind of talks about these electromagnetic fields that we're talking about and the waveforms that these fields, travel in our air, which is ether or plasma. And that's how we're able to communicate. You're in Japan. I'm in
Right.
Southern California.
Right.
I mean, we're having this conversation through waves and particles that are traveling through the air. And this is amazing how this physics works. Now, the electricity stuff, they're one directional because I'm talking directly to you. If it were to go off into left field over here, you wouldn't know what I'm saying. So all
Mm,
the electricity stuff's designed to be a one directional waveform. And we call those electromagnetic radiation. Essentially, they're non-native waveforms, and they are polarizing to our body. So they're just a different framework of how the fundamental framework of how these waves are comprised. All electricity, dirty electricity, wireless signals, they're all one directional or they don't work. But that's the complete opposite of how we're made and work.
okay. I think that would be easier for a lot of people to understand about electromagnetic waves. I mean, fields and how they would affect us in today's world. So also, I've seen some interviews you had, Justin. You talked about electric cars in particular. A lot of people around me right now, they want to buy hybrid cars or electric cars, and it's kind of worrisome, maybe for some people who have no idea about it. But how would you talk about this for guys who are normal people? Like, is driving or buying an electric car actually good for people in the planet?
No, the electric cars are the last thing you ever want to purchase. And fortunately, Japan's moving to hydrogen more than
Mm,
electric, because electric will give you 18% lower testosterone. You're basically
mm,
cooking yourself and your families in those cars. You're lowering your testosterone to really unsafe levels. Excuse me. It's not net zero on the environment in any way, shape, or form, because they're using diesel, coal, cadmium, precious minerals, what we call fossil fuels, to mine it. The
mhm.
cars themselves are really heavy. They're fire hazards. They don't get more fuel efficient when you drive them. There's no infrastructure or grid to support electric cars. It takes an hour to an hour
Mm,
and 45 minutes to recharge the car so you can
right.
drive somewhere.
Very
I
true.
mean, the whole concept behind an electric car, I feel, is just a fad. And thank you, Japan, for being the first one to bring us into a more cleaner, sustainable fuel of hydrogen versus using electric cars, because it's just never going to work to any sustainable way. Every company's moving to hybrids because they realize that already, because no one wants to wait an hour plus or 2 hours to get their car charged to drive somewhere when they could just go fill it up in, a few minutes at a gas station. So yeah, these things are really dangerous. The big thing for me, I'm big into body sovereignty and freedom as well. And governments can shut these cars down at any time. I mean, there's multiple computers. There's over 7 computers in every new car. But these electric cars, they already make them so you can only drive so far on those batteries, and they could shut them down at any time. The amount of electromagnetic radiation stressors is far greater in them because you're sitting on that massive battery. And all new combustion cars have all the wireless signals, GPS, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, the whole front dashboard's milligauss, all electricity, the whole thing's self-driving all around it, but at least you're not sitting on a massive battery. And that's the big differentiator.
100%. No one wants to sit on a massive battery, as you said. Okay. Moving forward, Justin, you already have 2 books, which I mentioned in your introduction today. Can you share some of the key insights from these books and how they contribute to helping people who are struggling to get better sleep? Because that's what people want to have every day, and they want to improve their overall health, even as athletes as well. So, can you share some of these key insights in the 2 books that you already have?
Yes, Monica, thanks for sharing that. I wrote Athleticism, Whole Body plus Whole Brain equals Performance several years ago. It's my story working with amateur and professional athletes for almost 3 decades. And the first section is more on awareness. And I was hesitant on writing it, but during the lockdown where everyone was locked down, I realized that the world really needed to hear what health really is. It's not a shot. It's not drugs from a government mandating you. It's not touching people. It's not smiling at people. It's the complete opposite of that. So I talk about awareness a lot, getting connected to God, getting grounded by nature, and being part of a community, really embracing the togetherness of family and friends and gathering, and how that feeds our health. And because we are all connected through these resonances, we're essentially one with nature, and we're so interconnected with each other as well through how we interplay with our nature. And I really communicate that in a deeper realm through our fascia. And I work with Human Garage. I'm a brand ambassador for them. It's one of the largest, fastest growing self-healing communities, and it's free. And you do fascial maneuvers, and then you take silica to rehydrate your fascia. But the fascial maneuvers clear fascial adhesions. And anyhow, it's this is the biggest thing with these guys is how the fascia interplays with our biofield. And that it's our energy field, our electromagnetic field that I talked about that goes out 6 to 8 feet. And I feel that interplays with the air, ether, where all these waves and particles travel through. So it's a really, our systems are a really intricate system on how we communicate with each other just innately without communication. So there's nothing flying around to kill anyone. Viruses aren't the bad guys. There's firemen in every fire. We're communicating with each other at the quantum level, levels that people don't even understand. And so pharma, the industry itself, has just pointed one thing out and just to profit off of it, but that's not really the case. So anyhow, that was the athleticism side and that book and how I brought that to market. And then the rest is whole body, whole brain exercises just for pure performance for professional athletes and such. And then the second book that I published this year is called Grounded by Nature. And that is about literally getting outside and connecting to nature's resonance, because that's where we heal. And Monica, we get 5 different healing capacities from nature. And a car battery, if there's no water in it, what happens to batteries? They die, right? Right. So we have several more mechanisms where we don't die, but basically, how our body battery works is we get a negative charge from the Earth's resonance, and we pull the electrons to support our electron transport chain, which gives us energy. We get nutrients from the sun and energy from the sun, from those unpolarized light that distributes equally in every direction. And as Dr. Zach Bush would say, hopefully we get minerals from the air and breathing in beautiful, clean airs and different ecosystems. And hopefully we get it from the food. There's so much modified food and genetically modified and fake and pesticide-ridden, glyphosate-ridden food in the US now, from more industry lies of saying, hey, we have to modify this to feed more people, is just a lie. And then hopefully we get the other aspect is the minerals from the water and the conductivity of it all from the water. So if our body battery is missing any one of those 5 elements, Monica, we become a gateway for disease. And so I talk a lot about getting grounded by nature in that book, and how we're one with nature, how we feed off of that, how we recharge with it, how you want to have nature's resonance in your home as low and slow and as close to being outside so you can sleep and heal. And so we got to get back to these analog systems of hardwiring versus all the wireless stuff that these industries are selling us, because it's just a slow cook, chip away at our health process.
Certainly. I think that's an eye opener to everyone, just including myself. I think that's why I'm using wired earphones today. It's much better than the wireless earphones, right? And
yes.
like, listen, guys, Justin just said, go outside, spend time more in nature. I think a lot of people are just, surrounded by the gadgets, everything is just so modern nowadays. So I think that's definitely an eye opener for everyone. Okay, one more thing about your EMF Rocks grounding bags. I think this is the highlight of your business, Justin. So can you explain? I mean, you already talked about how you discovered the impact of, for example, wearable technology on athletes, for example. Can you explain more or share more how these EMF Rocks grounding bags help mitigate these effects?
Yeah. So I was selling somebody else's product early on in the career, and it had crystals and coppers, and I knew nature had the answers, because everyone looks to get grounded outside through nature's resonance, right? When you ground something, you do it to the ground. So I knew that was the answer. Well, I found a doctor that was using these crystals, and he was successfully treating his patients that were electromagnetic frequency sensitive. They were EMF sensitive. And so these are the crystals. They're beautiful pink colloidal crystals. They have moisture and magnetic properties. So Monica, shungite, amethyst, black tourmaline, all the other known crystals that have magnetic resonances, they're missing the one key element that makes them even stronger, and that's the moisture. And so ours have a moisture content in them. And so no one has used these crystals before, because when they would mine them, they would just turn to dust and they'd oxidize and turn really white. And ours are beautiful pink crystals. And when we seal them, they keep their color and they keep their form, and they last for 2 to 3 years. And they are amazing for EMF protection. And what we're doing is it's a several tiered step where when you bring the crystals into your environment, what they do is they have this piezoelectric effect, and they create a coherence with you and
Mm,
your environment. So those one directional waveforms that are kind of messing with your energy field, which then mess with the chemistry of your body and disrupt it in an array of different ways. And I'll go over those in a little bit. But the grounding bags, the hand mind crystals create a coherence. So they basically
mm,
create a harmony within you and your environment. So this is the end product. Our crystals, you use this as is, keep it sealed, put it on your bed. Monica,
mhm.
you'll sleep up to 60% deeper with
Wow.
this on your bed. That's what the doctor third party tests show.
So you mentioned earlier, Justin, that those rocks last for, was it 2 to 3 years? Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
And then when the moisture expires, it could last way less, and it could last
Mm,
a little longer depending on how often they're moving around or how much heat they get. But these are solid crystals inside of here. When they lose their
mm,
moisture and they turn really white, they'll lose their function for EMF protection. So just like everything natural, there's a life expectancy for these. And for me,
right.
that's a selling point, because you
Mm,
talk about all these other products. There's so many products right now that are manufactured resonances in a
mm,
sticker, a pendant, or a metal plate. And they're like, or just things you plug in the wall that they're say, hey, ours kicks off a resonance and then that
mm,
harmonizes your whole 50-story
right.
building. And I mean, it's just ridiculous. So why would we want a modified resonance in our environment when you can
Mm,
use nature's resonance? We're more natural. I equate that to, I don't eat genetically modified food. I'm not a fan of that. I don't recommend that for people. Our bodies can't recognize it, so we'll store it as fat. It's just toxicity and inflammation for the
mm,
body. So why would we want that in our biofield if we know from Bruce Lipton that our energy affects the chemistry of our body, and energy of our body is primary, chemistry is secondary?
okay. Wow. Okay. I'm just mind blown about the effects of these rocks, Justin. And yeah, definitely. People are, just craving for better sleep every day and just for better health. So I think these products that you have are going to be so, so helpful to everyone. And I just want to know now, as a business owner, you've gone a long way to achieve, I think, the level of where you are right now, and helping people improve their overall health, and educating us on how to coexist with EMF. So since this show is about failures and setbacks and how you made it through to achieve the level of success you're at now, the question I want to ask you, Justin, is, with over 25 years of experience working with people, with both amateur and professional athletes, creating these EMF rocks, grounding bags, to help people in general a decade ago, was there a point in your life or in your career or in the business where you felt you struggled and somehow reached a point where you didn't know what to do? You were lost and nothing was working. Things were going in a different, completely different direction in the business. Can you share how you recovered and rose to where you are now?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everyone, entrepreneurs, we have the big highs and lows, and
Mm,
it's a roller coaster ride. And excuse me, the goal is to see if we can keep that at the higher level and the lows not be as low, but that's not always the case. And I believe uh, there's emotional, basically limiting beliefs that everyone
oh,
has that don't allow us to get there. So we got to clear those out. And
mm,
no matter what the economy is doing, you can still thrive. And so I think it was 2008, or what was it? What was the time? Yeah, about that time. Excuse me. I had been in, a decade in the space, and when you're doing something and working with the top hot shop pros for a decade, you kind of know your stuff.
Right.
And I got, excuse me, really, really complacent into my knowledge. And then the economy kind of shifted a little bit. And so people weren't, that was the financial crash here, I believe, in the US, when the banking system kept using other people's monies and crashed our whole system. Excuse me. Anyhow, I was in a tough spot because I was in a dollar per hour realm. I was working with professional athletes, but it was all dollar per hour. I was making a lot of money, but because I was at the top of my game, but it was dollar per hour. So I was already limited. And then when the economy shifted, a lot of people stopped paying to go to the gym.
Oh.
So my revenue just tanked essentially. And what was interesting is my wife started a company called a Twist Band, and it was a no dent hair tie, and it didn't damage or leave a dent in the hair. And so she grew and built a multi-million-dollar company
Wow.
in one of the biggest, arguably the biggest recessions in the history. And I helped her do that. So I still kept some of the clients that were coming in, but help rebuild that business. And then wanted to reshift once we built that and sold it. It was, okay, how do I reinvent myself so I'm not dollar per hour and I don't get into this hardship again? And so I started looking into the consumer products, and I knew I had to start selling products and introducing products to the space to help the masses, because I knew I had so much information and knowledge, but I was limited on my bandwidth when I was dollar per hour. But the products could scale and help so many more people. And so that's where I started looking at these products. And now we have over 30 SKUs on athleticism.com, and a majority of them are my own products that we've rolled out to help more people than I've ever been able to help before.
Wow, that's incredible, Justin. What, how can I say this? Where do you see the business going on from now on? Like, where do you see Justin France and heading in the future? So you've had all these setbacks and struggles many years ago, and now things are, going your way. But what about the future? Where would you see your business heading on?
Yes, again, there's no upper limit challenge, and I want to clear that. The goal is and will continue to be to keep helping the masses raise their consciousness so that they can optimize their life with vitality and awareness and sovereignty, and be able to do what they love to do and feed their soul to the most the highest potential. The way I can do that and the way I see it going is by being on incredible podcasts like this and being able to share my voice and story. So thank you, Monica, for having me on to share that, and getting these products out there, because once they touch people's hands and lives, that someone gets a grounding bag, they're going to start sleeping better. People, excuse me, a lot of people are also on a healing journey. And it's really tough to heal when you're decharged and you lose the polarity in your body. And this is huge right now, is because if governments are mandating shots and now rolling out radiation that triggers shots, excuse me, we're going to have a lot of sick people potentially, because if some don't methylate, they don't flush and detox as well, or their bucket of fullness is so full, that's gonna tip over, and unfortunately dis-ease may set in. And so that's where I'm out there sharing this and helping it. So I see my voice being really strong and profound, and all over the world, and helping people understand that we need to rehydrate, we need to do fascial maneuvers, we need to get outside and get grounded by nature because it's free. And when you're inside, you need to use our grounding bags. And then in addition to that, we want to create these proximity protocols with the usage of the stuff because it's not going away. So how do we use it? Well, we wear corded headsets like you are,
Mm.
or we hardwire computers like I have. We go back to analog stuff and we stop with our purchase power promoting industries that aren't enhancing for our own health. So do not buy electric cars or hybrids. Look at combustion engines and more fuel efficient ones, and then hydrogen options. And so we got to start being more aware of it. Stop buying food that's not sustainably sourced and regenerative farmed and organic or biodynamic. Just stop putting chemicals in our body and stop promoting the production of chemicals and get rid of this industrial type of mentality to feed the masses. And the list goes on and on.
I love that, Justin. Thank you so much. And I think, now I live in Japan, so you're going to reach audiences living in Japan as well. So it's groundbreaking. Okay, one last thing, Justin. When people are watching and listening to this show today that we have, they're definitely going to be, I want more of Justin Franson and, the grounding bags that help not only athletes, but people in general coexist with EMF or electromagnetic radiation. So as we close up today, can you tell us where we can find you? Where can we engage with you on social media or your website?
Yeah, so emfrocks.com or athleticism.com. And on athleticism, it's spelled athletic, ISM.com. That's where I have all of our curated health products. We even have toothpaste and MCT
Mm,
oil and my wife's newest brand, which is Campo Beauty, which is essential oil line, which you'll be obsessed with.
mhm.
And so all of our curated health products are on athleticism. For social media, on Instagram at EMF Rocks, also at Athleticism Neuro Stacking. And then you can find me and talk to me directly. And I treat people remotely on Human Garage's
Mm.
Instagram, and they have about 1 million followers on Human Garage. I'm a brand partner, so we take over their Instagram live every noon Pacific time. I know it's 2 a.m. your time, or
Right.
3 now, but I take over at noon Pacific time,
All right.
and I do recharging. We can recharge your body. I'll do emotional clearings and treatments with our grounding bags to recharge people to help them heal and detoxify any EMF in their biofield. So that's a big channel that I'm on that you can always communicate with me live and direct on.
All right. So that's again Instagram, that's at athleticism neurostacking and at EMF rocks, right? And the websites
Yes.
you have are athleticism.com and emfrocks.com. Just a question, Justin. Do you ship your products outside of the United States? Just curious.
We do ship internationally, and we are successful to ship to Japan.
Incredible. All
We
right.
don't ship to Mexico, but we do ship internationally. The challenge is it's expensive to ship, and the
Mm,
duties and such. So please bear with us on that. We're working on finding distributorship there, but as of now, we do ship. It's just more expensive because of the shipping costs and duty costs. And
mhm.
but yeah, they're such a blessing for so many. And 5 grounding bags in your home will clear a 2,000 square foot home. 7 if you have solar. And then if someone's still driving an electric car because they're obsessed with Tesla or whatever, you need 7 grounding bags in an electric car to clear that to create a
Mm,
coherence with that battery.
I see. Okay. But got that. Thank you, Justin. All right. So the conversation we had today was really invaluable, Justin. Thank you so much. I would have to say, there was so much I learned from you and what you've created, especially, living in our ever-changing world with all the gadgets, all the types of technology that we have now. And all these things seem to inevitably coexist with us now. And not only that, but as a business owner as well, you shared about your struggles and failures and getting lost at some point, but striving and finding your way back. So great to have you on the show today, Justin. It's been an exciting conversation, and to have you as a featured guest here, we'll make sure to have everyone look out for you. We'll include links to find Justin Franson on the notes below. And yeah, make sure to like and subscribe and let Justin know about your thoughts on his knowledge and in his insights as well. So thank you so much, Justin. It's been an honor having you on this show. Great to
Oh,
have you.
thank you, Monica. Appreciate you.